I love democracy.
Many Star Wars fans are wondering if The Mandalorian Season 3 will deliver the same level of excitement as The Mandalorian Season 2. The large amount of cameos is part of the reason the second season is so popular. We know characters like Bo-Katan and Moff Gideon appear in Season 3, but what other cameos can we expect? Before we get started, I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of senators. Okay, here are 5 possible cameos in The Mandalorian Season 3. Number 5, Boba Fett. The ending of the Book of Boba Fett left fans speculating on the direction of Boba Fett's character arc. As they walk through a now free Mos Espa, the season finale concludes with Boba turning to Fennec Shand and saying, "We are not suited for this." It's safe to assume we will see the return of our favorite bounty hunter, now Daimyo of Mos Espa, and it will be sooner than we think. It's clear Boba is not completely satisfied being Beta Fett, ruling with respect. He craves more, and so do Star Wars fans. I have to give a shout out to a guy who loves Star Wars. Go check out his channel. Mike has a video about how Boba Fett will become the ruler of Mandalore. Most of what comes next is adapted from his video. I'll link it in the comments section below. Long story short, Boba has ties with the once Mandalorian leader, Jaster Morrell, and if Boba knows he has ties to this Mandalorian leader, he may just want his shot at the throne. Especially if he's not fit to rule with respect, as he alludes. Now, I don't think Din Djarin is interested in ruling Mandalore, but he is interested in restoring his identity as a Mandalorian. It's possible Boba may confront Din Djarin and ask him for the Darksaber. If Din Djarin gives the saber to Boba Fett, it could set the stage for a conflict between Boba and Bo-Katan. And his motives may not be nefarious. He may truly want to unite Mandalore against the Empire or First Order and just not agree with Bo-Katan's ideology or methods. We know there is some tension between Bo and Boba already. This is just one plausible theory. There are definitely others. And as a side note, we do see Din Djarin and Grogu returning to Tatooine and interacting with Peli Motto in the recent Season 3 trailer, so they may meet up with Boba as well. I think Star Wars fans will welcome Boba's return once again, and let's hope he acts a little bit more like, Boba Fett. Number 4, Sabine Wren. We've discussed this cameo before in a separate video. I don't think this cameo is as likely as Boba Fett, but as this senator of the channel mentions, everyone who has been involved with the Darksaber will likely be in Mando Season 3. I definitely think that Sabine will be involved. Din Djarin, Bo-Katan, Moff Gideon, and yes, Sabine Wren are all key figures in the Darksaber's recent history. After the Battle of Jakku, it's implied Sabine stays on Lothal to defend Ezra's beloved city. However, it's possible she makes a trip to Mandalore, her beloved world. She obviously has a deep-rooted identity as a Mandalorian. In the past, she has aided various Mandalorian clans defending themselves against the Empire. She has a motive to see the restoration of Mandalore. If there were ever a season for her to make an appearance in The Mandalorian, it would be Season 3. Season 3 will likely end with the Mandalorian clans being united. Under who? I'm not sure, but seeing Sabine has aided in fostering a Mandalorian leader once, it makes sense Bo-Katan will recruit Sabine to help her in her conquest of the Mandalorian throne again. And given Season 3 is set to air before the Ahsoka show, where we know, and I know I'm going to mess up her name, Natasha Liu Bordizzo is set to play Sabine Wren in live action, it makes sense to see her appearance a bit earlier. Think about it. Casual fans could get a glimpse of Sabine Wren as a Mandalorian and learn her backstory. It sets the stage perfectly for Ahsoka, and gives casual fans a springboard to the next live-action show. Speaking of Ahsoka, number 3, Ahsoka Tano. This cameo I have the hardest time imagining. Most likely we see Ahsoka because we saw her in Season 2, then she made a surprise appearance in the Book of Boba Fett. So, what's another unexpected appearance? Ahsoka does have connections with Sabine. We know Sabine will play a big part in the search for Ezra Bridger, the presumed main plot of the Ahsoka show, and Bo-Katan is the one who initially led Din Djarin and Grogu to find Ahsoka, so there's that connection too. It seems like there's a lot of buzz around Ahsoka showing back up in Season 3. I ask you, as senators of the channel, what is the most likely scenario Ahsoka shows up in The Mandalorian Season 3? And do you think it's even plausible? Let me know in the comments section. I think we see Ahsoka if we see Sabine. If Sabine assists in restoring Mandalore, I think she may recruit Ahsoka to help as well, helping facilitate a peaceful transition of Mandalorian power and creating a united Mandalore may be in Ahsoka's best interest in eliminating the rest of the Imperial remnants and defending against the larger threat of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Number 2, Luke Skywalker. As all Star Wars fans should know by now, Grogu reaches out to a Jedi on Tython in The Mandalorian Season 2. Luke Skywalker arrives to save the day and takes Grogu with him to be trained. But Grogu is back with Din Djarin for Season 3. You have to watch the Book of Boba Fett or my recent video on why excitement for The Mandalorian Season 3 is low to know why. Luke Skywalker is not done with Grogu yet, or at least that's my speculation. Grogu has a strong connection with the Force. He uses it fairly often, especially given his Force abilities probably lie dormant for the period of time when he was taken from the Jedi Temple to when he is found by his father, Din Djarin. As Luke states in The Mandalorian, talent without training is nothing. Someone is going to have to teach Grogu how to use his abilities. And I don't believe that Grogu will adapt well to the life of a Mandalorian foundling. It just doesn't seem likely that Grogu will continue being a Mandalorian. I think Din Djarin will realize this, and perhaps sends Grogu back to Luke in this upcoming season. Or, Luke may just show up to take Grogu. It's even possible that Grogu starts to tap into the dark side, and in an attempt to right his path, Din Djarin recruits Luke to take Grogu back with him. We do see what appears to be Grogu having another flashback of Order 66 in the recent Season 3 trailer, which, speaking of, let me know if you think we're going to see a cameo of Hayden Christensen as Anakin. It's no secret that Disney knows they have a moneymaker with Grogu. They will continue to utilize Grogu wherever they can, so the question becomes, where is Grogu's story headed? I like to think that Grogu will end up with Luke again, which is why I believe Luke Skywalker will return in The Mandalorian Season 3. Now for some other potential cameos before we get to the number 1 possibility, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and as I've already mentioned, Ben Solo, perhaps already beginning to turn into Kylo Ren. Finally, the number 1 possibility, number 1, Snoke. We know the New Republic is going to play a larger role during this upcoming season of The Mandalorian. The New Republic is, well, new, and trying to distinguish itself from the recent oppressive regime of Emperor Palpatine. But as we know, Palpatine is far from gone, and we know close to Palpatine is Supreme Leader Snoke. Now, if we see Snoke, it will likely be the end credit scene of the season finale, or maybe a brief cameo in the actual episode. But Snoke is one of the more likely surprise cameos in my opinion. A recent article by The Direct teases why Snoke's appearance in the show just got more likely. We know that cloning is a major plot point of the Mandalorian series, as we see what appears to be Snoke in episode 4 of The Mandalorian Season 2. And Andy Serkis, the actor who plays Snoke, is said to have been filming using motion capture during the same time Foundry, the working title for The Mandalorian Season 3, began filming in 2021. We've also heard the Praetorian Guard, as seen in The Last Jedi, will also be making an appearance. Their red helmets leaked online a few months ago. But I think the biggest connection, as mentioned already, is the cloning plot point. There seems to be a major theme of cloning, given the Bad Batch, which by the way is set to overlap with The Mandalorian, is also exploring the concept of cloning. And we do see the cloning doctor in the most recent trailer of The Mandalorian. I think the biggest question is, are fans going to welcome the sequel trilogy connections? That, I don't know. Are you excited for The Mandalorian Season 3? Check out this recent video where we discuss why excitement for The Mandalorian 3 may be low.